We'll see if this is at all helpful to you in a very basic. It's on a Mac, and I don't know if you're using a Mac or not, but a lot of the functions are basically the same. I went ahead and opened all of my pictures that I basically want to use in the backgrounds and have them all sitting down here in the dock. If you don't have a super fast machine, it will slow it down. It slows mine down. Mine's not super fast, but it usually can handle quite a bit. I went ahead and have edited most of my pictures. These aren't the greatest pictures, but it was like the easiest one to come by. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I edit photos. I don't know how, basically when I want to edit, the first thing I'll do often is make a copy, and that you just kind of left click it if it's a PC, if it's a mouse, control click, and then duplicate the layer. That just gives you, in case you make a mistake, more to go back on. And then I do a Control L or a Command L, depending upon if you're a Mac or if you're PC, but you want to adjust the levels. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring in the levels, and it's usually, you can say, well, you're going to bring them all the way to the thing, but obviously this picture is a very light picture, so that wouldn't work. So, but you just kind of eyeball it and what looks good, and I'm doing these ones a little bit probably more contrasty than I do in general, just because, I don't know, for something different. I may make sure I flatten them after I'm done editing them. After I get all my pictures kind of the way I want them, probably the best thing to do then is to crop them at this level. If you know you want something cropped, go ahead and crop it at this level, which is this function over here. And then right now it's going to the wrong size because it's aspect ratio custom. What you want, basically no restriction, just allows you to pull it where you want. You can see what the other restrictions are. And I'm going to trim this one in. Same thing with here. It's, it's basic idea of scrapbooking. You just kind of crop them the way you want. You can do shapes, ovals, circles, all that. Not with this function. They're a little bit more complicated, and I found that I rarely use them just because it takes so much more time. That I end up being mostly square, rectangle. But on the rare occasion that one I know is what I really want, and then I will, And in fact, this next one, I'll show you, because it would be a cute circle. And I'm sure there may be an easier way. But what I end up doing is I do a circle tool, and I kind of just, then you go up here to the move, and I cover up what I don't want. If it's hard to know, I drop the opacity over here on the side, and so then I can kind of see. Then once you drop this, pull this back up to 100, and then what you want to do is, again, left click or control click, depending on if you're Mac or PC, simplify the layer. Over here on your control panel, there's this button, which is the magic wand tool, basic select, and you do a control C, control V, which is a basic control. It's just copy and paste, and you can see I have made it. There may be an easier way to do it. That's just the way I do it. Now you won't want to flatten this because it would mess up your background. So just leave that multiple layer. Sorry, I probably should have cropped all these first. I don't know. Sometimes I wait and crop them at a time. There's several ways of doing. When you're creating your page, you can often create like a picture, like a frame, and then you drop the picture in it. I do that occasionally, and I'll show you how to do that maybe next time, but it really slows down your machine. So when I'm trying to work with a lot of pictures and do a lot, I rarely use that function just because I'm trying to move quickly through here. if you wanted to, you know, take more time, then that would probably be something you can do. And if this works for you, I can try to show you more functions as I work on this year's book, because I've only gotten like 10 pages done and I have like 100 to do, and supposedly it's going to be done by November, but I'm not guessing that's going to happen. So all right, I got my pictures basically ready. I have a template set up that works. You can see that I had my brother-in-law make this. You can do whatever you want. This is because I'm working on 10 by 12 books. Not 10 by 12, 8.5. I don't know what it is. 8.5 by 8 by 10. I think it's 8 by 10 book. And so this is open sideways. Is the I just did it to help remind myself. But even this isn't a very good template, because after I created last year's books, you have to make sure you're leaving space for the binding. So a lot of mine, you know, and I did this to remind myself, because in the years past I gotten too close to the edge with my pictures or words, and they get cut off because it goes all the way to the edge. So that's just a reminder to me not to go too close, but it's not even that good a reminder, because I need to have them remake it, because the scent, it needs to be even narrower than this because of the binding. Okay, so I'm down here. I opened up some of the paper and some ribbon that I like, so I'm just going to, you can do this a couple different ways. I'll show you both ways. One, you can duplicate layer and then you drag it to where you want, and this currently is just the template, is what this file is called, template. So I do that, and you can see down here, I can already see that it pops up. I can just discard that when I'm done. And again, I'm going to drop all these papers on here. You can see it just showed up. And again, the last color paper. Let's see. I'm going to throw that on top. And then once they're up here, once you have this plus selected, you can just drag these around and do whatever you want with them. You can even, again, duplicate the layer and figure out what you want to do. The other way you can do things is like this. You take them and you just drag and drop them on there. They shrink them down, so that's just a good thing to note. And now, being these are ribbons, we'll definitely want these at top screen, so you can just select them over here and drag them on top. But now they're together, I don't need that. Okay, obviously we want to turn these, so we're going to do a 90-degree turn up here. I just changed them 90 degrees. You can do a negative 90. It doesn't really matter for the ribbon, but it does matter in certain things in the later. And this ribbon, let's see. Again, change it 90 degrees. And now this is a little bit thinner than I wanted, so I'm going to go ahead and thicken that up by just pulling it sideways and enlarging it. Now, this is the one thing that I think is wonderful about this particular program versus some. I'll show you just a second. I think I'm going to pull another one of these, duplicate the layer, and I can have a matching ribbon over here. Now this one, you can see it's not quite the right color, and this is what I like about the Photoshop versus almost any other software out there you can't do this with, and you can do this with anything, is you do a Control U. Oh, sorry, I gotta simplify it. When you pull it in like that, it'll have these little things, and then you just have to simplify it before you do it. But yes, simplify layer, Control U, and now I can change the color of that. And I want it probably about this color, but